Honorary State Regent, Colorado. Holly Grimes, Honorary State Regent, Mississippi, past Vice President General. Rhonda Quinn, Honorary State Regent, Idaho. You may begin. Alabama Society DAR officers: Patrice Donovan, First Vice Regent, National Vice Chair for Commemorative Events. Clarice Lilly, Second Vice Regent. Tad Douglas, Chaplain. Ann Paramore, Recording Secretary. Janice Jennings, Corresponding Secretary. Mary Lilly, Organizing Secretary. Ophelia Gibbs, Treasurer. Judy Arthur, Registrar. Terry Lynn, Historian. Sandra Bradford, Librarian. You may begin. Visiting state officers with us today: Morgan Elliott, Vice Regent, Arizona; Reggie McGee, Vice Regent, Arkansas; Susan Broderick, Vice Regent, California; Teresa Cales, Vice Regent, Oklahoma; Mary Carter Lovett, Vice Regent, Texas; Betty Harrell, Second Vice Regent, Georgia, and the State School Chairman; Lillian Leslie, Recording Secretary, California; Joanne Summer, Recording Secretary, Texas; Elizabeth White Peters, Corresponding Secretary, Connecticut; Barbara Petrov, Organizing Secretary, Texas; Lynn Stalker, Organizing Secretary, Washington and State School Chairman; Shirley Blaine, Treasurer, Texas; Susan Johnston, Registrar, Texas; Jacqueline Waddell, Registrar, Washington; Lori Bain, Curator, Texas. You may begin. Christine Wood, California, DAR Service for Veterans; Gino Melton, Kentucky, Junior Membership; Mary Tedesco, Massachusetts, Service to America. You may begin. National Vice Chairman: Sue Ellen Adams, Alabama, American Heritage; Beth Stewart, Alabama, American Indian Youth Camps; Betty Sue Bird, Texas, Commemorative Events; Sarah Bryant, Alabama, DAR Scholarship; Tammy Clemens, Alabama, DAR School Tour; Cricket Creeper, North Carolina, DAR School Tour; PJ Stigley, Michigan, DAR School East Central District; Melinda Shackelford, Alabama, Junior School Representative, KDS DAR School; Maury Lee Ray, South Carolina, Junior School Representative, Tomasi DAR School; Ella Lee, Oklahoma, Lineage Research, DNA; Lauren Cook, Tennessee, Social Media; Lauren Baker, Georgia, Lounge Specialty Shops; Mary Johnson, Texas, Registration. You may read. Chris Morton, Senior National Librarian, National Society of Children of the American Revolution. Susan Tomlinson, Alabama; Cheryl Odell, California; Gail Birmingham, Kansas; Robin Rutledge, North Carolina; Beverly Wade, Texas; Adele Morris, Virginia. Stephanie Shazaz, Georgia; Ginger Hockenberger, Florida; Eddie Scully, Michigan; Carol Schwenk, Vermont; Glenn S. Rucker, Georgia; and Glenn is the great-granddaughter of Peyton Smith. Will all members of the KDS DAR School Board of Trustees please stand and be recognized as a director? Sarah Clayton. Sarah is an honorary member of the KDS Board of Trustees, and Sarah always provides the beautiful flowers on the stage, and they always look wonderful. And Sarah just waved to us, okay? So good. now recognize members of the Heroes of Kings Mountain chapter of Guntersville. Members of this chapter have been attending Dedication Day and taking care of registration for 62 years. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. It's now my pleasure to introduce Heather Gray, KDS Executive Director, who will continue with the introductions.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning. It is my pleasure to join in welcoming you to the 95th Dedication Day activities for Keynote Smith DAR School. We have a number of elected officials and distinguished members of the local community and surrounding areas here today that I would like to introduce. Please hold your applause until all the introductions have been made. Marshall County Board of Education Superintendent Dr. Cindy Wheatley. Assistant Superintendent Alan Gardner. Other members of the Board of Education staff here today: Andy Spike, Special Ed Supervisor; Kim Kirby, School Improvement Specialist; and Jana Bonds, Federal Programs Director. Please help us welcome our guests. Marshall County Commission, District 2, Rick Watson, Commissioner. Thank you for being here, Mr. Watson. And I want to say a special thank you to Sheriff Phil Sims and his staff. That's probably the largest police escort we've ever had. It was like the president was in town or something with all the cars. So thank you for helping us out. We have Council Member Judy Bradshaw. Please join me in greeting our guests. Planning Dedication Day is an epic task, and there are many moving parts. It would not be possible to do any of this without the help of everyone here at KDS. But I would like to introduce a special group of people who work very hard leading up to this event, but also throughout the year, the KDS administrative staff. April Pendergrass, Office Manager; Ed Cable, Development Director; Teresa Choate, Receptionist; and Hannah Weeks, Bookkeeping Assistant. Thank you, ladies. And our maintenance staff: Scott Randalls, Maintenance Supervisor; Don Spurgeon, Donald William, and Glenn Ledbetter. Thank you all for your dedication today. I will now introduce Marsha Mitchell, our high school principal, who will introduce her staff.
It is a blessing this morning to introduce to you the men and women for the success of our almost 450 students here at KDS AR High School. With over 21 years' experience, we have 28 faculty members, 20 of those are in advanced degrees, and we are honored to have 4 faculty members who are DAR. KDS AR High School faculty and staff, will you please rise? Ladies and gentlemen, please take your places.
Middle School Principal Tim Isbell will introduce his staff.
Madam Chairman, it's such an incredible honor to have the opportunity to introduce the 33 wonderful staff members of KDS and AR Middle School. Of the 33 members, 24 are certified teachers with 12 advanced degrees. They have an average of 15 years of experience. We have 7 graduates of DAR and 1 DAR doctor. It would be, I would miss an opportunity if I opportunity to talk about one of our staff members. She has invested 45 years walking the halls of the AR schools. She went to school for 12 years and has led our JLC program for 33 years. After we welcome and thank Miss Cynthia Maples, I'd like you, the rest of the DAR Middle School staff, to please rise for a round of applause. Thank you.
Elementary Principal Dr. Tina Anderson will introduce our staff.
Madam Chair, as a graduate of KDS, I am blessed to be back as principal of DAR Elementary School. Our current student enrollment is 485 students in kindergarten through 4th grade. Our total enrollment of 539 students preschool through 4th grade. We have 54 faculty and staff members. 29 of our staff members are KDS graduates, and 6 are Alabama Society DAR members, and we have 7 CAR DAR. Over 50% of our staff have advanced degrees. We also share between the middle school and high school our school nurses and resource officers. At this time, the most awesome KDS DAR elementary faculty and staff, please stand to be recognized. Thank you, and as always, it is a highlight of our school year that the DAR is on our campus. Feel free to come back and visit our campus at any time. Thank you.
We have a couple of other staff members who I'd like to recognize, because without them, we would be in a world apart, to be perfectly honest. Our school nurses, Beth Barnes and Carla Glover, thank you so much, ladies, for all you do for our student. Resource officer, Jim Ann, thank you so much. Continuing the rich tradition of talented students at KDS, I am pleased to present this morning's musical program. Rise and Shine America, featuring 4th grade students in an original program written and directed by Jan Betterton, elementary school music teacher inspector.
continuously. DAR, growing and blooming for future generations. Some of the other themes this year are the National School Committees League, hooked on DAR schools. And the symbol for that is a school of fish.
The junior membership theme is Juniors Light Up Our Lives. The symbol for that is fireflies.
Hey, did you hear about the historical event that happened 50 years ago, July 20th, 1969?
Yeah, our music teacher, Miss Butterton, told us that on that day she had a day with her boyfriend. But her mama told her she had to come home at least long enough to watch the moon landing that was going to be on TV.
They didn't have TVs way back then? Well, you did mention the most important event that happened that day, the moon landing. It was the very first time a person had ever walked on the moon, and that person was Neil Armstrong, the good old US of A.
A
are surely grateful to the DAR for that and for the many things they continue to do for us. So let's hear for the 2019 Sunshine Tour. Let the sun shine.
Thank you, Ms. Benediction. That was a wonderful job. I can tell the students did wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We have another special guest today. Mr. Scott Galen is from Regents Trust in Birmingham, and he is the guy who takes care of all the food. Mr. Scott, would you stand? It is my pleasure to introduce Denise Story Van Buren, President General, National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Mrs. Van Buren has enjoyed serving at every level of our society during 3 decades of DAR development involvement. In addition to serving as first Vice President General from 2016 to 2019, Organizing Secretary General from 2013 to 2016, State Regional Board from 2011 to 2013. She has been responsible for editing every issue of the award-winning American Spirit magazine and Daughters newspaper as editor-in-chief since 2004. And Carol served 2 terms as National Chair of the DAR Management Committee, 2 terms as National Chair of the Public Relations Committee, and 1 term as National Chair of the State Regents Dinners. A member of today's DAR campaign team that introduced the DAR program. extensive community involvement has been recognized with several honors, including the DR History Award in 2016. Mrs. Van Buren joined the Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation in 1993 as Vice President of Payment of the corporation in 1999. And a master's in business administration. A former radio and television news anchor, she's the mother of 3 sons and an 8 in New York.
Please be seated. If I have smiling faces, you absolutely astound me with your spirit, with your joy, with your enthusiasm for the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School. What an honor to be with you and to address you today. In meeting a few of you this morning, it astounds me to know how many of you have truly devoted much of your lives to DAR. And so I'm wondering if I could just ask, this is probably a complete breach of protocol, but I guess I'm wearing this, so I can ask this. If you have attended 10 or more DAR dedication days here at KDS, would you stand? Let's see who has been the longest. There's 10. All right, sit down. Those remain standing who have attended 20 years or more. Please remain standing if you have attended 30 or more dedication days. Beth Cagle, okay, we've got a few here. Please remain standing if you have attended 40 or more dedication days. And please remain standing, we've got a couple. 50 or more dedication days. Wow. 55? Do I hear 60? Wow, would you congratulate? Thank you, Mrs. Pratt, for all you do for here at the campus. Thank you. What an astounding testament to the way that daughters are committed to this campus. It's really a joy for me to see so many familiar faces in the audience and to know that our daughters have come from all over the country to express their love for the students of KDS School. So I do have a couple of things that I wanted to talk to the students about this morning. So I did notice that the clock in the cafeteria was running behind a little bit. Did anybody else notice that? I heard it was because it went back 4 seconds. Takes a little bit, but pretty good, right? Right. Now, I find this one hard to believe, but in my travels yesterday and today, I did hear that even the son was a KDS grad. But the son didn't go on to college. Does anybody know why? Because it already had 1 million degrees. See, I missed my calling. I promise this is the last one. What's the tallest building here on campus? You think it's the bell tower, but it's the library because it has the most stories. So lots of stories to tell here on this beautiful campus that has been the DAR school since 1924. The stories of partnership between a woman named Kate Duncan Smith and the early members who were passionate supporters of education, pure and simple. Women who together realized a dream to raise the hopes and the prospects of the young people of Gunner Mountain. Stories about the families and the students themselves who recognize that education extends well beyond the classroom and makes for lifelong service to others. Stories about daughters, chapters, states, and the National Society stepping forward year after year for 95 years, project after project, hope after hope to make dreams come true for boys and girls whom they would likely never meet and yet to whom they would feel a lifelong connection. These are the stories that connect 6 otherwise simple letters into something that becomes sheer magic: DAR and KDS. In truth, our longtime devotion here in Alabama does just illustrate one example of our National Society's commitment to promoting educational excellence. For example, our National Society provided more than $2.5 million in support for all of the DAR schools in the last administration. We distributed nearly $2 million in scholarships to deserving students on the local, state, and national levels in 2018 alone. We extend community classroom grants through our junior membership committee, and we have sponsored our American History Essay Contest for generations. So it's easy to understand then that during the course of the last 129 years that DAR has improved educational outcomes for hundreds of thousands of individuals through this type of generous support and unwavering commitment. Our devotion to education was put forth amongst the objectives outlined in the organizational meeting of our DAR Society back in 1890. These 3 now familiar tenets are historical, to perpetuate the memory and the spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence; educational, to carry out the injunction of Washington in his farewell address to the American people to promote as an object of primary importance institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge, thus developing an enlightened public opinion; and 3, patriotic, to cherish, maintain, and extend the institutions of American freedom, to foster true patriotism and love of country, and to aid in securing for the blessings of all mankind, securing for all mankind the blessings of liberty. Well, the close connection that we have held with students, teachers, and administration here at KDS DAR School beautifully illustrate the embodiment of those fundamental charges and pledged to each other back in 1890. Decades later, we remain so very proud to be your partner here at KDS, thankful for the education that you provide to the leaders of tomorrow. Now, whether we all like it or not, the world has changed dramatically in the last generation. Technology that we learn, we all work. Decades ago, hashtags were signs you might have seen in the cafeteria. Posts were something you tried to avoid in driver's ed class. And screen time for me growing up meant a weekly visit to the confessional booth at church. But we recognize today that we must teach the skills that Americans need in order to remain competitive in the global economy. There is no substitute for a strong educational foundation married with a skill set that meets the requirements of the modern workplace. And so what a thrill it was for me to have an opportunity to tour your classrooms yesterday, to learn more about the progressive things that you are doing in robotics and in laboratories here on campus. Really exciting stuff. I was equally excited to tour the new greenhouse and to know that we are going to be raising up young men and women who appreciate the value of working the land and raising food in local communities as part of the farm-to-table movement. Very exciting stuff going on here on campus. But we must not waver to the fact that it is equally important to teach American history, to foster patriotism, and to inculcate values that are so desperately needed in today's world. And perhaps if you are fortunate enough to be one of those people who is educated here and has remained here, you may take for granted the education that occurs here on this campus. It is not the norm. In fact, it's very rare indeed. Ours, in many respects, has sadly become an angry and an argumentative society. We seem to have lost civility and to have misplaced kindness. The common courtesies that once shaped our culture have been replaced with extremism, with confrontation, and all too often an outright refusal to consider the opinions of others. Yet when I come to KDS and I speak with these young people, it renews my hope that there is still a place in America where we are teaching the lessons and the morals that made ours a blessed nation. I'd like to ask any of the parents who are here today, would you please rise so that we can recognize you? If you're a parent of a KDS student, do we have any here today who came for Dedication Day? There we go. Thank you so much. Because we all know that teachers can only do so much in the classroom. So much of what needs to be taught to young people today, to citizens, should be occurring, is not. So I'm so grateful that you were able to join us today. And for our teachers, I do want to thank them for inspiring our students, for reinforcing the joyful obligations of citizenship, and for renewing our faith as members of the DAR in tomorrow. Now in June, I had the honor of being installed as the 45th President General of our National Society. And as I mentioned during my installation remarks on the platform at DAR Constitution Hall, some people may wonder if they have ever made a difference, but not members of the DAR. We are the living promise of America that spans from its founding to its future, and we know that our work, illustrated so beautifully here at Kate Duncan Smith DAR School, is more important to America's future than ever before. And so today, on behalf of our National Society, I want to challenge the young people who are here today. All of the students, raise your hands, give me some sunshine. You paying attention? All the students who are here, very good. I'm going to challenge each of you to accept that same responsibility to take up our work as DAR members and make a meaningful difference in other people's lives. Please continue your education well after your formal schooling may be complete. My wish for you is to rise up in lifelong volunteerism, to actively engage in the democratic process here in our nation, and to devote your very best energies to the United States of America. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are yours to pursue, yet like all of our liberties, they must be protected with your fullest measure, your very best, your devotion, all of your energies. Millions of young people around the globe at this very moment envy your rights, envy your blessings, even envy your hope for a happy future. And I suspect that is something that many of you may actually take for granted. So in closing, I would like to dare. Why? Because what are the first three letters of the word dare? I'd like to dare the seniors who are here today in particular. I would like to dare you to return to these beautiful buildings, this campus, this wonderful faculty in a decade from now, to demonstrate to those who invested in your education that you have repaid them with a generous dividend by demonstrating that you have indeed made the most of the privilege of citizenship and the fine education that was provided to you. I'd like to encourage all of the seniors to please return 10 years from now and be the success story that is possible only here in America. So if you're a senior and you accept my dare, my DAR dare, raise your hand. Will you come back in 10 years and show us that you've changed the world and that you're wonderful people and citizens? Give them a round of applause. And though I do intend to be blissfully retired at that moment, I am expecting an invitation back to Dedication Day in 2029. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Van Buren, for that inspiring speech. Thank you. The DAR School Committee theme for 2019-22 is Hooked on DAR Schools, and the theme of a school of colorful sunfish. Everyone at KDS is appreciative of the continued support and guidance of this committee, and we're hooked on this new theme. The high school choir will now lead us in, let me start over. The high school choir will be led this morning by James McDonald, high school music teacher.
thank you, Mr. McDonald, and the students for that lovely song. Thank you. DAR junior members have been lighting the lives of children at KDS for more than 81 years with support from the Helen Pouch Memorial Fund. Today, our first graders would like to shine a light on the good work of DAR junior members and all the members with a special song. Thank you, boys and girls. You've touched our hearts. Thank you so much. Okay. Our student body would now like to sing a special song that has been performed during the dedication day for 95 years. Thank you so much, students. That was wonderful. Up here on the stage, there aren't many people who don't have a tear in their eye. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great job. Great job. We will now have a brief 10-minute intermission. Okay. Yeah, Ricky told me that. She told me
Revolution is Denise D. Van Buren, President General in SDAR.
I have the privilege of actually presenting two dedications today. The first will be gifts provided by the National Society in the prior year, and then I have the joy of sharing with you the 3-year total of the Dillon administration. So for the prior year, the National Society is pleased to have provided the following support. Friends of DAR Schools Fund for the following: sponsorship of the Elementary Fine Arts Enrichment Program and fire alarms for the middle school. Ella and Charles Atwell Estate Funds, the quarterly appropriations for the annual operating fund, and interest from the bequests of Atwell Oil, Rebecca L. Knight, and Virginia E. Lamson, George and Louise Thornton, Mary Jo Martindale, Mary Kay and Clark Williams, Mabel Midgley, Marion Wagner, and Lou Ella Gridley, totaling $188,776. And now I'd like to ask Mrs. Harrison and Ms. Green if they would join me over here as I make a presentation of a ceremonial check that represents the National Society's support for the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School during the course of the Dillon administration. Students, can we get a drum roll or something? Here we go. And unless you have really, really good eyesight, you surely cannot see this in the back, so I will read you the amount. It totals $593,640.88 during the Dillon administration. We are so proud to support the important work here at Kate Duncan Smith School.
Dedicating the gifts of the National Junior Membership Committee is Jean Ellen H. Melton, National Chair.
On behalf of the National Junior Membership Committee and more than 14,000 junior members worldwide, it is my honor to dedicate our gift to the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School in the amount of $41,000. This gift includes funds from the Helen Pouch Memorial Fund for the track and tennis storage facility, the middle school fire alarm system, student health, tile for 2 classrooms, a MakerBot replicator and 3D printer, tennis ball machine and windscreens, hands-on equations, and Instapots. The gift also includes funds from the Junior Membership Classroom Grant Program. These gifts would not have been possible without the hard work, dedication, and fundraising efforts of past National Junior Membership Chair Jamie Durham Birchfield and her committee members. The Junior Membership Committee sincerely hopes these gifts will light up the lives of the children here at Kate Duncan Smith DAR School and will allow the school and those who learn here to flourish and grow. Thank you.
Dedicating gifts on behalf of the National Society Children of the American Revolution is Brooks A. Morton, Senior National Librarian.
On behalf of Mackey Storage National President and Norma L. Griffin Senior National President and the members of the National Society of Children of the American Revolution, I dedicate these gifts for the award sponsorship, Blessing Bags Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, football program, Helen Pouch Memorial Health Fund for student health needs, and annual operating fund. Thank you.
Dedicating gifts on behalf of the Marshall County Board of Education is Dr. Cindy S. Wigley, Superintendent.
Madam Chairman, thank you for involving me in the program today. Ms. Green and Ms. Harrison is such a joy to work with. We meet regularly and as often as we can, but thank you so much for your support. It is an honor to be here today, and it is with pleasure and pride that I greet you. I cherish the relationship between the Marshall County Board of Education and the DAR. It is such a unique partnership where students are truly the beneficiary. The DAR brings an incredible amount of enrichment to the lives of our students. The board and I thank you. We have other partners with us today. Commissioner Ricky Watson, would you please stand? The most important thing to us is the safety of our children. For many years, we have operated on a partnership with the County Commission and local legislative delegation, which provides part-time school resource officers for our schools. We were down to 3 part-time resource officers when school started to cover 14 rural Marshall County schools, many of which are not located within a police jurisdiction. On August 14, 2019, Commissioner Watson and the Marshall County Commission voted to secure funds to place a full-time SRO at each of our 14 schools. Please join me in thanking Commissioner Watson and the County Commission. Sheriff Sims, I think he was here earlier. He was also a part of that process, and we want to thank him not only for his efforts in assisting with that, but also for the daily support that he gives our schools. It is so important now more than ever. Students, I commend you. I enjoy watching the pride that you place in all that you do. Our students are respectful and contribute to the positive culture of our schools. I would also like to commend the staff, administration, and community. Last year's seniors received over $900,000 in scholarships and awards. They achieved a college and career indicator score of 86%. And they had a graduation rate of 96.6%. DAR High had a 6-point growth in academic achievement. The DAR Middle School robotics program is flourishing, bringing project-based learning and bridging the gap between school and the workforce. All 3 schools improved their absenteeism by over 35 points. And both DAR High and Elementary increased their state report card scores to an A. So proud. For the 2020 fiscal year, the Marshall County Board of Education will provide to the KDS DAR schools teacher and other school personnel salaries, fringe benefits, other current expenses, classroom instructional support, facilities quarterly maintenance, school safety facility upgrades, utilities and equipment, for a total of $9,156,309.87. That's an increase of $527,716.46 from last year. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to present the community and other gifts received during the past year. The Anderson Family Scholarships, Colazzo Family Scholarships, Greg Fuel Memorial Scholarship, Daniel Helton Memorial Scholarship, Phil Owen Memorial Scholarship, Good Dudes Scholarship, the James Davis Family Trust Fund for award sponsorships, Adopt-a-Class Program, award funds, Blessings Bags Program, the Children's Fund, the Christmas Fund, Fishing Team Sponsorships, High School Art Fund, Middle School Science Lab, Middle School Needs, Patriot Pantry Fund, Helen Pouch Memorial Health Fund, Nan Roberts Lane Chapel for the Building Fund and the Pipe Organ Maintenance Fund, scholarship funds, gift from Daniel Wren to fund the Pole Vault Team Fund, Gifts from Frank Colazzo and Colsa Corporation for the Middle School Robotics Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, and Fishing Team Sponsorship. Jim Sustain Giving Society, and Annual Operating Fund. These gifts from members of our community, alumni, and local businesses represent $71,826. We will now have dedications from our DAR state societies, organizations, and individual gift dedications. Representing the Alabama Society DAR is Tammy B. Clemens, State Regent.
On behalf of over 4,400 Alabama daughters, it is an honor and privilege to dedicate the following gifts to our beloved Kate Duncan Smith DAR School. Alabama State Regent Tammy Clemens Project Historic Properties Endowment, $10,300. Alabama Society Digitization Project, $12,845. Stan and Hazel Phillips Establishment of the Otagie Phillips Scholarship Endowment, $20,000. Sarah Kraft for KDS Merit Awards, $3,030. Peggy Johnson for Pennsylvania Bell Tower renovations, $5,000. Adopt a Classroom, $6,335. Annual Operating Fund, $12,267. Jim Sustain Giving Society, $10,038. Estate of Ginger Horton Durham for the Becker Horton Hall Endowment, $10,000. Christmas Fund, $2,469. Children's Fund, $2,469. Scholarship Funds, $2,729. Awards Fund, $1,232. Endowment Fund, $1,870. Blessing Bags, $1,575. For the Nan Roberts Lane Chapel Building Fund, $1,735. Pop Organ Maintenance, $1,029. As well as providing support for the high school art department, band, robotics club, middle school library, family and consumer sciences, JAC club, and the Pouch Health Fund, for a grand total of $116,421. We are dedicated to ensure you grow and bloom for future generations. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the California State Society DAR is Adele E. Lancaster, State Regent.
Funds provided by the California Daughters to help sustain the exceptional educational opportunities provided to the children of Kate Duncan Smith DAR School have supported the following: annual operating costs, Hollywood chapter scholarships, Adopt a Classroom, Blessing Bags and Patriot Pantry, the Children's Fund, the Middle School Robotics Program by sponsoring the laptop and Lego Mindstorms EV3 core set, regular scholarship funds, high school art program, the high school band, and through the Gem Sustain Giving Society. Annually, too, California is pleased to present scholarships totaling over $50,000 to many individual students eager to continue their education. These scholarships were made possible years ago through a generous bequest from the Dreadless Anderson sisters to California Daughters. These gifts are dedicated on behalf of the nearly 10,000 California members represented by 40 California Daughters here yesterday and today.
Dedicating the gifts of the Connecticut State Society DAR is Christy A. Hendry, State Regent.
I am Christy Anderson Hendry, and I am truly grateful and blessed to be here today, my first time. Thank you. On behalf of the almost 2,400 Connecticut Daughters and the Mary Clapp Worcester chapter, I am honored to present this contribution to the annual operating fund. Thank you for this opportunity to serve the DAR school, and thank you very much.
Dedicating the gifts of the Florida State Society DAR is Kay Yarbrough, State Regent.
Good morning. On behalf of the 11,300 Florida daughters, it is my pleasure and privilege to dedicate the following gifts to the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School. The annual fund, gifts made possible by Ruth Ann Fay and Gertrude B. Kirby Fund of the Community Foundation of Broward. The Book Fair Funds, a project of Suzanne Landry, Florida State Vice Chairman. The Jim Sustained Giving Society. The Florida Dreams Are Real Scholarships, established by Honorary State Regent Rebecca Lockhart. Adopt a Classroom, Honor Roll School Supply Fund, Blessing Bags, Children's Fund, Christmas, Family and Consumer Sciences, Pouch Memorial Health Fund, and the Work Scholarship Fund. Gifts totaling $16,996. You would have thought we could have added that $4 extra, right? It's been the pleasure to present these gifts on behalf of the generous Florida daughters. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Georgia State Society DAR is Melody G. Brown, State Regent.
Good morning. Georgia Daughters are dedicated to KDS. We are proud as a state society to sponsor the Georgia State Society Scholarship and continue to fund that endowment. And we have several chapters that fund their own scholarships of significant amounts. The Georgia chapters have supported Adopt a Classroom, Blessing Bags, and the Children's Fund in a big way. But I want to remember today our departed member, Lynn Brackey, whose resolve every day was to do something to help someone else. And even in death, she continues to be a role model of love and generosity by a significant bequest to KDS, who she loved KDS and the students here so much. And we just appreciate her dedication here, continuing even in her death. So on behalf of the 8,250 daughters in Georgia, I dedicate these gifts totaling over $34,000 with love to the children of KDS. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Illinois organization DAR is Charla L. Lucan, State Regent.
As the Illinois State Regent, I am very proud to dedicate these gifts to the Kate Duncan Smith School on behalf of the 7,800 Illinois daughters. Our past Honorary State Regent, Margaret Peg Kincaid, established a trust which has funded the annual operating costs and an endowment fund. Other funds that are other projects that are funded, are the Illinois State Organization DAR Scholarship, Annual Operating, Blessing Bags Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Snowflake Fund, Scholarship Funds, totaling $58,880 to help these KDS students continue their outstanding education at this wonderful school. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Kentucky State Society DAR is Carol June Rogal, State Regent.
On behalf of the 4,500 Kentucky Society DAR daughters, we're proud to dedicate our contributions toward the annual operating fund, award sponsorships, and the Christmas fund to the Kate Duncan Smith School. We also give you our best wishes for a wonderful school year.
Dedicating the gifts of the Maryland State Society DAR is Maureen M. Tipton, State Regent.
The 3,000+ Maryland DAR daughters are pleased that they were able to support various KDS programs totaling $1,768. Children are our future, and no child should go without. Be it adopting a classroom, blessing bags, Patriot Pantry, Christmas Fund, or the annual operating fund. Thank you for letting me honor you and all these wonderful students. Thank you.
Dedicating gifts on behalf of the DAR of Michigan is Gina M. LaCroix, State Regent.
It is an honor to represent the over 3,500 Michigan daughters and several chapters at the 95th KDS Dedication Day. We sponsor scholarships, DAR of Michigan, Louisa St. Clair Chapter, Stony Creek Chapter, Blessings Bags, Book Fair, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, Operating Fund, and the Sustaining Giving Program. Michigan Daughters are proud to support the KDS students.
Dedicating gifts on behalf of the Mississippi State Society DAR is Helen H. Polk, State Regent.
It is my pleasure to dedicate gifts from the more than 3,500 members of the Mississippi State Society that were given during the McNamara administration. Gifts include the band, children's and Christmas funds, the Dancing Rabbit Chapter Scholarship Fund, the Family and Consumer Sciences and Honor Roll School Supply Fund, the Becker Horton Hall Endowment Fund, Blessing Bags Program, the annual operating and scholarship funds, for a total of $5,143. Our members proudly support the outstanding efforts of the faculty, staff, students, and parents of Kate Duncan Smith DAR School, and we wish you a most successful year.
Dedicating the gifts of the Missouri State Society DAR is Cynthia B. Suick, State Regent.
Greetings from the nearly 5,700 Missouri Daughters. I am very honored to dedicate funding to Kate Duncan Smith DAR School for the annual operating fund, the Jim Sustained Giving Society, Blessing Bags Program, the Children's Fund, and the Middle School Library. Missouri Daughters are proud of our continued support for KDS DAR School, and we are so excited about what will happen next for each of you. And in closing, I would like to add to you students 2 words: go Patriots.
Dedicating the gifts of the New York State Organization DAR is Patrice F. Berner, State Regent.
On behalf of over 7,000 members of the New York State Organization, it is my honor to present the following gifts: award sponsorships, Blessings Bags Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, Patriot Pantry Fund, Scholarship Funds, gift from Luray Deschamons Chapter Annual Operating Fund, gifts from Mary Washington Colonial Chapter Blessings Bags Program, gift from Colonel Aaron Ogden Chapter Blessings Bags Program, gift from Tuscarora Chapter, sponsorship of 5 Chromebooks and 1 computer charging cart for the high school, GEM Sustained Giving Society and Operating Fund, totaling $14,837. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the North Carolina Society DAR is Carol N. Weiss, State Regent.
Thank you. Good morning.
It is an honor to dedicate the following gifts on behalf of the 7,500 North Carolina Daughters: the Award Scholarship, Band Fund, Christmas Fund, Scholarship Funds, Marion R. Heiser Green Thumbs Award, the Jim Sustained Giving Society, Golden Squirrels Scholarship Fund, and the Annual Operating Fund. We wish you an outstanding school year and hope for a great win tonight. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Ohio State Society DAR is Kathleen A. Dixon, State Regent.
It is my pleasure to dedicate gifts on the behalf of the 6,400 plus daughters, Ohio Daughters, to the Blessing Flags Program, the Christmas Fund, Nan Roberts Lane Chapel Maintenance Fund, and the Annual Operating Fund. Our blessings for a successful school year. Thank you.
Dedicating gifts on behalf of the Pennsylvania State Society DAR is Elizabeth A. Watkins, State Regent.
On behalf of the 6,500 Daughters of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I'm honored to present the following gifts. To the Pennsylvania Log Cabin in Bell Tower for the Bell Tower renovation and Carillon maintenance, Blessings Bags Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, Endowment Fund, Pennsylvania Junior Membership Fishing Scholarship Fund, the Middle School Library Fund, gifts from Cynthia Sweeney, including the Christmas Fund, the football program, and the GEM Sustained Giving Society, gifts from the Charitable Trust of Mabel Slagle, from the Massey Harbison Fort Hant Chapter, GEM Sustained Giving Society, and the Annual Operating Fund. Pennsylvania Daughters are honored to support the children of KDS. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Tennessee Society DAR is Cecile S. Wimberly, State Regent.
Madam Chair, on behalf of the Tennessee Society Daughters of the American Revolution, it is my honor to dedicate our gifts to Kate Duncan Smith DAR School. Included in the Tennessee gifts this year were donations to the Children's Fund, annual operating expenses, the Blessings Bag Program, and other varied funds as noted in your program. We're especially proud of our contribution to support the middle school robotics program this year. These gifts would not have been possible without the generosity of our Tennessee Daughters, spearheaded by our past State Regent and Vice President General Charlotte Reynolds, whose background in education allowed us to seek to support innovative experiences like your robotics program that help teach students STEM skills in exciting ways. The Tennessee Daughters hope that these gifts will allow KDS to continue to be a shining example to schools in the region, and we look forward to continuing our partnership in educating the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Dedicating the gifts of the Texas Society DAR is Susan G. Tillman, State Regent.
On behalf of the over 19,000 members of the Texas Society DAR, it is a pleasure to dedicate the following gifts. Sponsorship of the Texas Duplex Cottage, Adopt a Classroom Program, Blessings Bag Program, Children's Fund, Christmas Fund, Endowment Fund, Honor Roll School Supply Fund, Middle School Needs Fund, Scholarship Funds, the Alabama State Regents Project Historic Properties Endowment, the Josephine Porter Scholarship, the endowment funds for the Texas Centennial Scholarship and the Texas Family and Consumer Sciences Scholarship, gifts from Lady Washington Chapter, dual enrollment scholarship funds, Lady Washington Chapter Scholarship, U.S. Flags for Campus Fund, and sponsorship of practice jerseys for the middle school boys basketball. Gems Sustained Giving Society and the Annual Operating Fund in an amount of $13,116.
Dedicating the gifts of the Virginia DAR is Adele Morris, State School Chair.
On behalf of Regent Leanne F. Turbyfill, the Virginia Daughters are very happy to provide funding for award scholarships, the Christmas Fund, the Honor Roll, School Supply Fund, Middle School Library Fund, Patricia M. Buffington Memorial Scholarships Funds, gifts from the Kate Waller Barrett Chapter for the Kate Waller Barrett Chapter History Award, the Blessing Bags Program, and sponsorships for 2 dress mannequins for Family and Consumer Sciences. 10 TI 84 CE Plus scientific calculators for high school math, and a Tower Garden indoor growing system for middle school science. Gifts from Judy R. Mays for the Christmas Fund and the Annual Operating Fund, the Gems Sustained Giving Society, and the Annual Operating Fund for a total of $10,479.
Dedicating the gifts of the Washington State Society DAR is Lanabeth L. Horgan, State Regent.
From the majestic mountains of Washington State to the gem of Gunner Mountain, and on behalf of the Washington State Society DAR, it is truly my honor to dedicate the gifts listed in your program in the amount of $73,336. Thank you.
At this time, Morgan Blake, National DAR School Committee Chair, will accept these gifts on behalf of the National Society, and Heather Green, Executive Director, will accept the gifts on behalf of Kate Duncan Smith DAR School.
Madam Chair, on behalf of the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, I accept these gifts for the benefit of the children at KDS. Daughters, thank you so much for supporting our children at KDS, hook, line, and sinker.
On behalf of Kate Duncan Smith DAR School, I humbly accept these gifts and extend my sincerest appreciation to all the DAR societies, organizations, individuals, businesses, alumni, and community members who have made these gifts possible. Thank you.
Everyone is invited to the famous basket lunch in the DAR lunchroom immediately following the recessional. The unsinkable Sonnies, who were stranded in Mentone, Alabama yesterday and arrived late, will be our honored guest and will be first in line. After the President General. Thank you all for standing, and thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. The KDS DAR School Museum and Archives in the Pennsylvania Log Cabin will be open from 12:15 to 2:30, so please stop by to see the timeline and historic displays. The craft show will be open until 2 in the Doris Pike White Gymnasium. The Alabama Board of Management will meet in the New York reception room at noon. Following the benediction, please remain standing until the flags have been recessed. Please stand for the benediction and blessing given by Chaplain General Pamela Boyd.
Please pray with me. Our Father, we thank you for all the blessings you have given us. May we always treasure the warm memories of the time spent together here at KDS. Bless each of us and keep us in your loving care as we conclude this Dedication Day program. Now, gracious God, giver of all good things, we look forward to the bountiful tables that will be spread before us and marvel at all the many people who have worked so hard to prepare our feast. Bless this food to our use as we refresh our bodies and our minds with ties of friendship. Amen.